How do you begin to unpack every conspiracy theory? There are literally hundreds of them. It seems like a very daunting task, and I can't get through all of them, but I can go through some of the ones that are affecting us. Affecting us, you might say? Yes. I am talking about the theories that affect you and me, the ones we don't even know about, and yet they still impact our day-to-day lives. In this podcast, we are on a mission to determine what's really going on around us, finding which conspiracies are closer to truth than fiction. I'm Marissa, and in today's episode, we'll be uncovering the mystery behind the company BlackRock. So turn on that VPN, cover your cameras, and put on that tinfoil hat because this is a show for you. You are listening to Censored Truth with Marissa.
Exposing secrets, mysteries, and uncovering the truth. You may just rethink everything. This is Censored Truth.
I first wanted to go out and hear the opinions of fellow people to see if they shared the interest or had any knowledge on the topic. Today I'm here on the streets of Toronto to discover if people really believe in conspiracy theories and what kind of conspiracies they believe in. Let's hear what the people have to say. Come on, let's go. Do you believe in conspiracy theories?
It depends, honestly.
Yeah, there's definitely some that could be, they could exist, but I don't know. It's, you can never, confirm them.
Sometimes.
Yes, 100%.
Is there one conspiracy theory that interests you or you feel strongly about?
Not particularly. I'm not that passionate about conspiracy theories, if I'm being honest.
Not specifically. Sometimes when I hear them, I'll be like, oh yeah, true.
Not conspiracy theories where they're super specific, but I feel like the ones you could really believe, a bunch of rich people at the very top are in control of a lot of things around. They could be controlling 25, maybe 50% of the industries, so they got just a lot of power.
That Mark Zuckerberg is a lizard person.
Yes, of course. Birds aren't real. I actually support it fully.
What if I told you that one asset management firm owns the highest shares in everything that we interact with, including Google, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, Big Pharma, Disney, news and media, and banking?
What? Really? That's crazy.
I could believe that. Is it called BlackRock?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool because I don't know. I got into stocks recently, and I was just researching a bunch of companies, and I just know BlackRock is hella rich, $3 trillion in assets.
I believe that. Yeah. Makes sense.
Is it Mark Zuckerberg who owns? No. Okay, but I believe it anyway.
I think it would be true, honestly, because the world's sketchy nowadays.
That wraps up our time on the street. You heard from what the people had to say. Now let's get back in the studio to hear more about it. I love hearing what people have to say, and a lot of them had some great ideas on conspiracies. Others were not so familiar. But today, we will be getting familiar with one particular conspiracy. Today I'm here with a good friend of mine, Lauren Iannucci, to discuss the topic of conspiracies. Thank you so much for coming on my podcast.
Thank you for having me.
So, why do you think that people believe in conspiracy theories?
I definitely think people believe in conspiracy theories because they're interesting. And I think sometimes things just get a little bit boring and people just want to have a reason to spice things up or believe in different things that maybe, companies do or big brands do. And I think just people want to make things interesting.
Do you believe that conspiracies are harmful or are mostly innocent?
It definitely depends on what people are making conspiracy theories about. If it's something fun and lighthearted, it can definitely not be harmful. It's more innocent. But there definitely are conspiracy theories that can definitely alter the way people think and the way people perceive certain information, which then can become very harmful. So yeah, I guess it definitely depends on what the conspiracy theory is.
Yeah, totally agree. Do you think that there's a lot going on behind closed doors of the elite? Things that we don't even know or couldn't know about?
Oh, 100%. I'm a very strong believer that the government is controlling us and we just have no idea. I also think that there's people out there that believe the same thing that I do. But again, they have so much power that there's not much that we can do about it, but we just have to kind of go on with their games. But people can make assumptions and make as many assumptions as they want, but we'll never actually uncover the actual truth of it.
Exactly, especially when big companies are controlling the government too, right? Do you think a company like BlackRock has influential power over companies that they invest in and do business with?
I think so, just because they have so much power over different companies. I I don't think smaller companies would have as much as a say as BlackRock would. So yeah, I definitely do think that they do have power.
And as a company who has $10 trillion worth of assets, do you believe that they have the best intentions for the everyday people?
Absolutely not. I think that a lot of people are in it for money these days. And so when you have that much money in a business or a brand, it's definitely not with the idea of the best intentions of people. I think sometimes they're going to do things that are going to be in spite of people's feelings and do whatever they can to get to the top.
Yeah, I totally agree. Thank you so much for coming in. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you for having me.
Before going into the discussion on BlackRock, I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Marissa, and I have been interested in various topics, but I have a particularly fun time listening to controversial conspiracies. I usually find myself being interested and hyperfixating on the topic for a couple of days, but then forgetting about them. When I had to create a podcast, I knew that this is what I should be talking about. I was first introduced to BlackRock in 2019 during a rabbit hole marathon of YouTube recommendations. After doing some research into them, I discovered that there were two main conspiracies about the company and their sister company, Vanguard. Recently it popped into my head and I knew I had to talk about it on my podcast. I'll tell you the conspiracy, then we can go through it together to determine if it has any truth to it or if it's just that, a conspiracy. BlackRock has allegedly become an ever-growing company that has taken an interest in buying up the housing market and controlling the everyday lives of people. It might help for you to have some knowledge of the company, and that is where I become useful. BlackRock was founded in 1988 as an American investment multinational company that initially started as a risk management and fixed income institutional asset manager. BlackRock is the largest asset manager in the world and has currently $10 trillion in assets under management as of January 2022. For those who are unfamiliar with the asset management, they basically invest on behalf of their clients. They adopt the name BlackRock in 1992 and then become public on the New York Stock Exchange October 1st, 1999. Within that same year, they gained $165 billion in assets due to the global institutional relationship. In 2009, they become the #1 asset manager in the world. Even after a large asset drop in 2011, they still are considered one of the most admired companies today. Where things get weird is the need for a large company to react and respond to theories. Clearly, they are very busy. Why would they take the time to respond to these conspiracies, unless maybe they had some truth to it? BlackRock has a page on their website denouncing the conspiracies about them, claiming that BlackRock is not buying individual houses in the U.S., and state that they provide capital for mortgages to help American home buyers. When looking to BlackRock as a company, it is evident that they are an active investor in the U.S. real estate market, but aren't a part of the institutional investors buying single-family homes. This quote from the website indicates that the conspiracy about institutional investors buying houses is prevalent and true, but it just isn't BlackRock who does this. But a company they hold a large presence is does buy American houses, and they're called Blackstone. Blackstone's history with BlackRock is complicated, so I will summarize it the best I can. They are both at one point the same company in 1988. It started off as Blackstone. Both Larry Fink and Steve Schwarzman worked together in their risk management and bond analytics advisory firm, which started out as Blackstone Financial Management. In 1994, the two organizations separated and Schwarzman allowed Fink to call the business BlackRock, thus the reason why their name sounds so familiar. Blackstone has bought a company called the Home Partners of America, which have bought more than 17,000 homes, which they then rent out. In 2019, Blackstone exited from the single-family rental business when it sold the last shares in Invitation Homes, which is a company that rents out the homes, which had become the largest U.S. firm in the industry with 80,000 homes for lease. The firm put its toe back in the market in 2020 by investing $240 million to buy a preferred equity stake in Toronto's Tricon Residential Inc., which buys single-family rentals in North America. For all the recent activity, big institutional investors own about 300,000 U.S. homes, or only 2% of family single rental homes, according to a report by New York-based financial firm Amherst Pierpoint Securities, LLC. About 85% of single-family rental market is owned by investors with 10 or fewer properties, the firm said. So big companies buying up family homes is a true thing. Although the company BlackRock doesn't directly involve itself in it actively, they passively contribute by investing in companies that do buy homes. I think it's safe to say that the conspiracy is half true, half false because they targeted the wrong company, but half true because it is indeed happening around North America. And that wraps up today's podcast episode. I really appreciate you for taking the time to listen to my little rant. Please follow, subscribe, and stay tuned for next episode because it is very exciting. I'm going to play you out with some music now. Hope you have a great rest of the day. Take care.